Okay, so today we are going to be continuing on with my favourites and non-favourites for the first half of the year. Today we're doing a fun one called Favourites by Genre. I'm kind of setting this up in an awards ceremony type way where we're going to have some nominations and then we're going to reveal the favourite by announcing the winner. So let's not waste any more time because there's a lot of awards to give out. So the first genre of awards is my favourite thriller for the first half of 2021. And the nominations for my favourite thriller of the first half of 2021 are One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, The Woman Outside My Door by Rachel Ryan, and Every Vow You Break by Peter Swanson. And the award goes to The Woman Outside My Door by Rachel Ryan. Was there any doubt? The Woman Outside My Door by Rachel Ryan is a clear winner. The plot for this story, or the spoiler-free premise I should say, is that it revolves around a woman whose name is Georgina. One day, her son approaches her and tells her that he has found a woman who wants to be his new grandmother. Georgina's a little bit suspicious, but her husband says, let him grieve, that's what he's doing. She says, okay. The more the book goes along, the more Georgina starts to wonder, is this friend actually imaginary? Rachel Ryan ticked off everything in my checklist for a thriller. This is not only the best thriller that I read for the first half of 2021, this is the best thriller I have ever read. The next nomination is nominations for my favourite non-fiction book for 2021. So the nominees are The Diva Rules by Michelle Visage and A Return to Love by Mary Ann Williamson. And the award goes to A Return to Love by Mary Ann Williamson. This book is a book that Mary Ann Williamson wrote in order to help humans return to a place of love. And what could be more beautiful than that? I think it's very easy for people to say, love you, or I love this, or yes, I love myself, but it's harder to actually have that self-introspection where you can actually admit to yourself, I do love me, I am enough, I have enough love for not only myself but for others. Mary Ann Williamson goes about writing this book in a really good way, and I do highly recommend this to anyone to read, whether you are filled with a ton of love or not. If you are, you'll just enjoy the read. If you're not, this book will certainly help you. A very deserving winner. The next nominations are nominations for my favourite LGBTIQ+ book for the first half of 2021. And the nominations are His First Family by Victoria Sue, The Gentleman's Guide to Getting Lucky by Mackenzie Lee, They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera, As Far As You'll Take Me by Phil Stamper, and The Gentleman's Guide to Buy Some Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. And the award goes to As Far As You'll Take Me by Phil Stamper. The premise of this book is that we're following a boy who lives in Texas. In this world, Phil Stamper's world in Texas, being gay is not that well accepted. He plays the oboe and he has a dream to join the London Symphonic Orchestra. So he travels over to London to stay with his cousin who lives there. His cousin's too busy to pick him up, so his cousin sends his best friend to pick up our main character, and the two end up having a relationship at some point in the book. But what I really loved about this is Phil Stamper's way that he goes about writing LGBTIQ+ issues. If you want a Hail Mary for the LGBTIQ+ world, you really can't go past Phil Stamper. The next award is nominations for my favourite horror of 2021. The nominations for my favourite horror for the first half of 2021 are Goosebumps Book Number 1, Welcome to Dead House by R.L. Stine, and Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And the award goes to Goosebumps, Welcome to Dead House by R.L. Stine. Book number 1 in the series is exactly what you would expect from a middle grade, top-notch horror. The premise of this book is that we're following a family of 4. The 2 kids are our protagonists. This family of 4 move into a house that is left to them by their dead uncle in his will, and when they move in, some really horrifically weird things seem to be going on with the house that lead them to wonder, is there more going on here than meets the eye? It's a short book, so I can't say more than that without giving away spoilers, but let me tell you, if you don't like horror, or if you're a little bit scared or intimidated by horror like I have been, especially with horror films in the past, this is where you should start. A middle grade horror. This might be a little bit of a controversial award because regardless of what happens, it's one author and that author will take all regardless of which book wins. And that is because for mysteries, this is my mystery award, I have only read one book series and no standalones. So let's get into them. It was the Pretty Little Liars series. So we have book number 1, Pretty Little Liars, book number 2, Flawless, book number 3, Perfect, book number 4, Unbelievable, and that ends era 1, and then book number 5, which begins era 2, which is Wicked. Yeah, these are the only mystery books I've read, so one of them has to win. The question is, which one is it going to be? And the award goes to Perfect, book number 3. It was as perfect as the title suggests that it is. The next award is nominations for my favourite sci-fi of 2021. The nominations for my favourite sci-fi for 2021's first half of the year are Animorphs book number 1, The Invasion, Animorphs book number 2, The Visitor, Game Changer by Neil Shusterman, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and Cinder by Marissa Meyer. And the award goes to Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This was not an easy win for Dark Matter. In fact, a book that was this far away from beating it was Game Changer by Neil Shusterman. So the premise of this book is that we're following a man by the name of Jason Desson, who in chapter 1 has quite an interesting night. He goes home and wakes up the next day to find out that everything seems to be different. The message on his answering machine is his voice, but it's not a message he recorded. Where's his wife? Where's his child? And why is the house completely redecorated? What the heck is going on here? The answer will amaze you. This was so much fun. 5 stars. The next award is my nominations for my favourite classic of 2021. So the nominations for my favourite classic for the first half of 2021 are Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne, The House at Pooh Corner by A.A. Milne, The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, The Wizard of Oz by Frank L. Baum, and Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And the award goes to The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. It opens up with 2 men who go to an auction and end up buying an opera house in Paris. On the first day they open for business, there is a letter there by an OG known as the Opera House Ghost that is writing all these demands of them. The 2 men who purchase the Opera House decide to just fluff off the letter, refusing to believe that it's anything serious, and then strange things start to happen around the Opera House, making them wonder, does this Opera House ghost actually exist? Whether you've seen either the musical or the movie or not, I highly recommend reading this book so that you can get a glimpse into the horrifically wonderful world that Gaston Leroux has created. My next category is Favourite Contemporary. Here are the 5 nominations for my contemporary/romance book for the first half of 2021. Princess Diaries Volume 1 by Meg Cabot, Princess Diaries Volume 2 by Meg Cabot, Love Clancy by Richard Glover, In a Holidays by Christina Lauren, and With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. And the award goes to With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. So the premise of this book is that we are following a woman, the woman on the cover, by the name of Amani. Amani is a teenage mother who's in her senior year at high school. For the first time in her high school, they've introduced a class called the Culinary Arts Program, where for the first half of the year, they will learn how to be chefs, and for the second half of the year, they get to travel over to Spain to do some apprenticeships. The only problem is the school doesn't have the money for Spain, so the students have to raise the money to get there. Will they be able to raise the money in time? Read the book to find out. This was so well done, and I'm so happy for Elizabeth Acevedo. And now for the award for the most amount of books that I've read this year. That is right, it is time for our final award of the night, the 2021 Favourite Fantasy for the first half of the year. I have read 30 fantasies this year. Undoubtedly, every single book in this top 5 that have reached the nomination stage have received 5 stars. So I love all of them. But which one is going to sit above the rest? The nominations for my favourite fantasy for the first half of 2021 are City of Bones, the first book in the Shadowhunters series by Cassandra Clare; Caraval, the first book in the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber; Keeper of the Lost Cities, the first book in the Keeper of the Lost Cities series by Shannon Messenger; Nevermore, the first book in the Nevermore series by Jessica Townsend; and Mistborn Secret History, which is a novella by Brandon Sanderson. The winner of my 2021 favourite fantasy for the first half of the year, standing above the rest, goes to Caraval by Stephanie Garber. This was not an easy decision to make. So why did Caraval win? Because it is the only book that I've read this year that has made me experience every single emotion you can experience. Happiness, sadness, joy, anger, confusion. I went mad as the Mad Hatter, going round the twist and back again in such a good way with this book. No other book has had me on the edge of my seat the whole way through. So that's why Caraval deserves to be. Following two sisters who are living a horrible life at home with their father, who has enacted a really, really tough and kind of weird punishment where if one sister stuffs up, the other sister is the one that gets punished, which obviously puts a whole amount of guilt onto the one who stuffed up in the first place. Really psychologically horrible. One of the sisters receives a letter from the Caraval master. Caraval is not really a circus, not really a carnival, it's kind of like a combination of the two with magical fantasy elements in it. So he writes a letter to one of the sisters inviting both of them to come along and play the game. So the game basically works that you find clues along the way. Let's just say the Amazing Race mixed with fantasy. So you find a clue, you need to go and do what you need to do with that clue, and then it'll lead you to the next one, lead you to the next one, lead you to the next one. The thing is that the ultimate thing you need to find with all these clues, it's pretty big, and the consequences if you don't find it in time are pretty dire. So not only do we have a fun ride playing this game all the way through, but at the same time, we need to run. Congratulations, Stephanie Garber. And that is it. Well done to all of the winners for every single genre that I've read so far this year. What would your winners be? Let me know in the comments section below. There are more favourites and non-favourites to come, but in the meantime, that is where I'm going to leave it, letting you guys go peace, blessings, and so much love. I post videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I'll see you again soon. Mwah. Thank you so much for watching, and happy reading!